Hello dear friends, it's Fisher here. So today we continue with our beautiful stories of Bruno, The Power of the Spirit, the book written by Alfred Hosp, also known as Freddy in the book. So now we come to one day, so Bruno give a talk. So after that, Freddy and his girlfriend Lilo was about to go. And then Bruno asked them, do you want to go already? And Lilo answered truthfully, Mr. Barway has just told us that this evening has been set aside for your closest friends only. So we don't want to be any trouble and we will be on our way. And Bruno wasn't very happy. And he said, What? Barway has been too hasty yet again. I told him many times that in such cases he must ask me first, before he takes it upon himself to make decisions like this. You belong to my closest friends, and so I invite you to stay. Or are you tired and want to go to bed? In that case, I won't stand in your way. And Freddy and Lilo said, No, Mr. Groning. We don't feel tired in the least and are happy and grateful that it is now possible for us to be allowed to stay here. And Bruno smiled and turned to other friends and said, It is of absolutely no importance how long someone has been part of this circle, as to whether I can reckon them amongst my closest friends or not. The only thing that counts is their inner ripeness. None of you, not even my friend Barway, can and may make decision on this. And in the future, when I am not present, no such decision must be made. Otherwise, it will be a matter of pure prejudice, the consequences of which would lead to injustice and to the evil. And here, amongst my friends, there can be none of this banding together in a cliques, and that arises out of human weakness. On the path to God, there should never be any kind of personally motivated favoritism or discrimination. Aspiring to or lobbying for certain positions within the communities will lead to rivalries, and that is already the seed of evil, and that would like to destroy the good, the divine, and that should not and may not happen, either here and now or in the future. So basically, just a little story about Bruno's giving a talk. Then Freddy and Lilo told him basically one of the Bruno's friend, also the host, Mr. Barway, had made decisions to tell some friends, sorry, you don't belong to the inner circle. You don't belong to the. You're not the closest friend of Bruno. So basically, you can go now. So we don't want you. And then imagine how people will feel. So they first whoever desired the teaching of Bruno will feel disappointed, and then after that, okay, I'm a little frustrated. So yes, okay, what can I do? They feel helpless too. Is that okay? I don't belong to Bruno's inner circle. I don't belong to the closest friend of Bruno. So be it. And then, as what Bruno said, so the only thing that counts is the inner ripeness. So basically, what Bruno talking about here is everybody's spiritual ripeness. So basically, nobody can decide. And then when you're gonna be ripened, or the process of your spiritual ripeness, the only one decides your spiritual ripeness, my personal understanding, is yourself and God. So, and you know how ripen you are. What's your ripeness? Are you getting ripened of being sweet, peaceful, loving, compassionate? Or are you still sour and bitter and nobody like to live around you, nobody like to talk to you? So what is choice, dear friends? So you want to be sour and bitter and then to completely just care about yourself, be self-centered, selfish? Or you want to have a consideration on other people too while you considering about yourself? And also Bruno said we should not compare, as what he said, we should not compare ourselves, should not judge others. So basically do not favor one over the other. So, and this is just pure prejudice. And then the prejudice, all these things will cause a evil. So basically it is evil, and then leads to the rivalries. So people competing over, I don't know, being a prime minister, president, manager, so any a CEO, whatever the position is, people all compete, and there's a huge rivalries among human beings for thousands of years. Think for yourself. So basically, you got the kings, you got the queens. So they all be back to the old days, the emperors, the empress, and then the prince, the princess, still aristocracies. So they all believe they are more superior. Okay, so and they believe they're more superior than others fellow human beings. So they're better, since somehow they're more intelligent. So they have a royal blood. All those kind of if I should say rubbish, all this kind of belief or indoctrination, so will lead to injustice, to lead to injustice and unfairness. So basically, we always believe we're better than the others, just because we're our color, race, religion, whatever, or even ideology. We believe we know better truth. And then we know greater truth, and then others don't. Others just purely primitive thinkers. So that's what's happened among the human beings. So we don't tend to cooperate, and then we always compete. You see here we have this and that competitions, sports competitions, and then that's often you see the football games always one against the other. Okay, otherwise people will consider it so boring. Why is that? Because we're growing up on this. We're growing up in the school. We received our so-called education, and then education is based on competition. So how often you get told to cooperate with your fellow students, your classmates? How often do you get get told to cooperate, to work together with other people? But rather just always compete, see who has the better marks, see who has a better grade. So all this competition and causing all this injustice, and then probably not all the injustice, but largely lots of injustice and in our human society. And that's why we always fighting among each other, because we always compete. We don't work together. There's no fighting when we work together, but there's always fighting when we compete. Okay? Because I'm faster, you're slower, whatever. So we need to change the mindset, the fundamental mindset. Human beings should work together, should cooperate. Okay? So not compete. Our education system is completely wrong. So that is what's happened. So basically, of course, the power that be always want you to compete among each other, always want you to fight among each other. So this way you never make peace with each other. Of course, when there's a problem, there's a profit. Okay, so that's what basically the Bruno always say. You should work with your fellow human beings, and then not to try to favor one over the other, right? Not to think you are better than other people. So everybody is going through a different stage of inner ripeness. Basically, we all, my personal understanding is we all running a marathon. So we're running a big marathon. So somebody is slightly ahead of the other. So it doesn't matter, we'll get there at the end. So everybody has their different speed. So everybody has their different way of doing things. As long as we walk on the good path, the path of God. So and towards our spiritual journey, and then sooner or later we'll get there. So, and also stay in the divine. Okay, stay in the divine always. Have a trust and faith. Okay, dear friends, and wish you well and God bless. Merry Christmas too.